Okay, all right. How's everybody doing? Good. All right, so here we go. Day 2, training camp. Excited to obviously get out there. Continue the work that we started yesterday. Very similar practice to yesterday as far as the areas of the field that we're working on, some of the situational stuff. So continue to build on that. We obviously add more volume from a install standpoint. Expanding some of the scheme stuff that we're talking about for the guys, and going back and doing a lot of the execution better that we did yesterday. I thought yesterday overall from the practice standpoint, thought the players were trying to, do a good job of facilitating the transitions of practice and getting in and out of the different areas of work that we were doing on the field. Obviously, we got a lot of coaching to do and, a lot of work to do from a playing standpoint too. But I thought the effort and, everybody moving in the right direction was, very clean and organized. And, the drills, like probably everybody on the first day of camp, were good. And you can see as practice goes on and, they're long practices. It's hot or semi-hot out there right now. And, that's what you're trying to build through and work towards from a workload standpoint. So, we're off and running. We're just good to finally be on a schedule that's the same every single day. We just like routine. We like to be able to kind of get in rhythm so that you can improve that rhythm every single day. And the best way to do that is just kind of be consistent. So that's where we're at. We're going. So questions? Yeah.
So now that you've kind of had to experience practice with your new wheels here, like how different is that? How frustrating? What's that like?
Yeah. I think I probably addressed it yesterday. I was probably still in the same, because we had a couple of days of early training camp where I was, in the same boat. It's just different, It's good. Like I said, and I told the team, it gives me a chance to kind of look at everything from another, 10 to 20 yards of a perspective away and just kind of give an overall view. The only part that's hard, obviously, for me as a coach is, I love being in the middle of all of it. And, for safety reasons, can't really do that. So, but it's good. Everything is filmed. All practice is taped. So you go back and spend the time in the afternoon and at night to coach up all those points. In teaching methods and stuff like that. Obviously, immediate correction is always the best way to get something taught. So I'm just kind of struggling a little bit with that. Other than that, we're good.
As you entered your second training camp in charge of the team, can you talk about the process? Like, last year, trying to emphasize things you thought went well, change things you didn't think went well. What was that process? How was that process?
Yeah, you know what? The best part about it is, you go through something once, and when we talk about going through it, I mean from like spring through training camp, because they're all kind of lumped together. And the way that the CBA is built and how the different phases through the spring then tie into training camp and how it all builds on top of each other, I think the first time you go through anything, you're trying to grasp as much of it as you can. But once you experience it one time and then you look at it the second time, that's when you can say, okay, all right, I understand the logic behind this. This is how this builds. This is how this works. This is how we increase and prepare to go do what we need to do here in, September. So I think that standpoint of it, just you go through the same routine, you go through the same explanation, but as, with every kind of learning experience, you learn and understand more every time. So I think that was a good kind of, mile high shot of it so everybody could kind of understand what we were doing. Definitely talked about things that we all thought were really beneficial last year when you take a look at it going through a full year, and that we got to make sure that we, keep that up and do the same thing. And then things that, we're going to change based on whether it's just points of emphasis, makeup of the team, rule specific things that we need to address, areas coming out of the season that we really need to improve on and focus because they're important week in, week out to get better at. So you always monitor and adjust and adapt to those situations in practice and just explain to everybody why.
Danny Amendola, you've been around him before. How much is the energy he brings, and he really likes all of this stuff.
Yeah.
How important is that in bringing him in addition to the production he brings?
Sure. Well, I think just in general, you got to love Danny Amendola. You got to love everything he brings every single day. He's probably one of the most intense people you're going to talk to. And when you're passionate about the game of football, like we all are, and like he is, passion breeds passion, and you're rolling. You're having a great conversation. He's dialed in. He's focused. He's like everybody else. He's got a lot of work to do and improve. But as far as a person, he's a football guy. Like he loves the game, loves being around the guys, loves every aspect of it, and all that energy and all that is contagious, and that's great to be around all the time.
You got another receiver, Marvin Jones. You obviously played against him, before coming here a little bit. But what did you learn about him last year? Just maybe something that you didn't know he could do, or something.
Sure. Obviously, playing against guys and Marvin in particular, all the respect in the world for his talent and his ability, and what he did out in the field and how it affected the game, and all the things that he could do to affect that. I would say, being intimately in, everyday settings with someone, you learn everything about him, and I think for the standpoint of just getting to know him as a person and his family and, his passion for the game and for football and for life. I mean, that's all stuff that I really enjoy. I think as far as the football aspect of it, you learn that, how hard he studies, the different intricacies of things that he feels comfortable with, different things that, you look at on tape and you say, hey, what about this? Can we try this? And you just get into that coaching relationship, which is great too. And he's so receptive to all that stuff. He's got an unbelievable skill set to work with and kind of develop. And, it's exciting that, he loves competition. He loves to be challenged, and things like that are great as a coach, because that's how you improve. So you just get that other side, which is, obviously, why we do this.
One clerical thing really quick. Why was Ashawn Robinson not in the practice?
Ashawn actually, so he reported to camp. Ashawn was excused by me for a personal matter. He'll be back shortly. I'm in contact with him.
Out there for the first time in almost a year. Do you have to start over with him, treat him like a rookie, or did he pick up enough along the way while he was working?
You know what? I think we start over with everybody. Every year you start over, and obviously, Nick had a lot of on-field time that he missed last year, but that stuff isn't really what's important. What's important is Nick's approach since the moment he got injured and his, work in progress to getting back. He's, a tenacious worker. He's in every single day. He wants to learn. He's trying to learn not only his position, but, things that affect the other side of the ball. And those are the things that, you just understand that this kid is determined to do everything he can to be out. Now, we still got to go out there and learn and play, football from that standpoint. So you're going to take it from ground zero and build from there, certainly. But I would say the difference between, someone that's been in the building and doing the things that he's been done, even though he's hurt, the routine, the schedule, the kind of the grind of what professional football is compared to college. Like, he's not in the rookie mindset from that standpoint. So that gives him it's just a different, different experience level of what he has. But as far as, the fundamentals and the skill set and all that, and certainly the scheme's new for everybody. So, everyone starts over from that manner.
Carson Jelani Tavai, what are your expectations for him first week of training camp?
Sure. I think Jelani's come in and done a great job of learning. He's a rookie like all the rest of them. I think our expectations are the same for everybody. We're just going to try to get better today, and we'll take it, day by day with that sort of stuff and manage it that way so that we can just show and try to find improvement. But, he hasn't played it down in the National Football League. He's had his first official training camp practice, and so we'll just try to get better here in the second day. But we got a lot of guys out there working hard, and, hopefully they just all continue to improve, push each other, be competitive, and that's how we get better.
Tight end is notoriously difficult on rookie players. To this point, what have you seen from T.J. Hawkinson in terms of his development, handling some of those difficulties?
Yeah, I would say, just in general with TJ, all the attributes as far as a football player that we look for coming out of the draft, work hard and, smart and all that stuff is, certainly that's who he is. That's the stuff that you do in the background checks, and you're trying to bring guys into the program. But, it's certainly a different level here when you get to what he has to learn and all that. And he knows that he's got a lot to learn. He's got a long way to go. And, but he's a hard worker. He loves the game. Guy's got a great attitude. The guy just loves the grind and the passion of the game. So you take it, you work with it, you go forward, and he's got a skill set that hopefully we got to see out on the field. But he's got to go out there and do it consistently and do it every single day. So we're a long way from that in general with everybody. And he's one of those guys. But certainly from the everyday in the building, trying to get better mentality, he's great.
What's going to be the key to that tight end room being almost all new? What's going to be the key to them succeeding?
It's probably, in general, the same as all positions. You got to learn. I think on offense in particular, it's hard to separate out the different groups because they're all learning something new, from that aspect of it. I think the biggest thing for us through the course of training camp from the tight end room specifically is just to find out what do those guys do well. What are really their strongest skill sets, so we can try to put them in those positions out on the field to be successful. The whole offense in general is learning new schemes, so they certainly have to, dive into the playbook and understand, concepts from that standpoint. But I would say the carryover from the spring with those guys and a lot of those guys being new is just trying to teach, our, brand of the way that we look at the game and playing a smart football game and some of those things that go along with that situationally, which, those guys are doing a great job of. And because, like you said, that's kind of a key position that's involved in all of those situations, whether it's early downs to, second and long, short yardage, third down critical situations, red area, 2 minute. The tight end position is kind of the in between of all of that. So there's a lot from a mental standpoint there that they really need to master. So that would be first priority for us right now. And then obviously as we get towards pads and, working the fundamentals there from the physical standpoint of it, we're just going to need to see that consistent improvement every day from that group.
One more on
I'm going to hit 3 real quick, so give me good, quick questions. Let's go.
One more on Bowden loosely. Like when a player gets injured and misses an entire year, being a year-to-year league, especially a young guy that doesn't have any experience, what do they do behind the scenes to kind of, keep up?
Yeah.
They're not lost.
You know what? Some of it's different for every player. It's kind of just a general behind-the-scenes stuff for that. If you're injured or go on IR during the season, depends on the severity of the injury and depends on when it happens. Depends on where the surgery is done and the rehab and all that. In Nick's particular case, unfortunately, he was injured early, kind of went through the surgical procedure and all the rest of it there. And then once he was in a normal rehab mode, it was great because he was able to be here, and working. So you really kind of take it from a standpoint of let's just teach the game of football, and just it could be anything from, evaluating a linebacker, an opponent. Like, what would you do if you were studying this guy this week? Or, hey, what's a Monday look like for you in season? What's if you were getting ready to play, what's a Tuesday? What's a Wednesday? And kind of, try to really just get them to learn the routine. It's the biggest thing when you're a rookie and you come in from college and all the responsibilities that you have in college, then you go to, the professional level. It's just different. Everything is different. And for us, it was just, he's here. He loves the work, loves the game, wants to be around the game. And it was easy start for us was like, okay, well, here's the routine. And then how do you make yourself a better player and prepare that way, even though, unfortunately, last year he didn't have the opportunity to go play, on the week. If that makes any sense for you there.
To what extent is this, do you say, or drive home the point that right now is when the habits are instilled and this is when the winning happens and this is when we learn how to be the team we want to be and that can compete for championship?
Yeah, I think, when you try to go big picture, you're certainly going to try to tie in as much as possible. And winning is something really, to me, that is all that matters. And we do, that's our focus, but that's not the goal right now. The goal is exactly what you said to begin with, is just we're just trying to get in routine, and the biggest thing for us is to get into routine so that we can improve. Because, the winning and the rest of it, you can't do any of that unless you get. So for us, it's really the focus is improvement and improving. And to do that, we're all happy to be on just kind of hey, we're going to be at this meeting at this time on this day, and that's going to be the same for the next, how many ever days in a row. It's just our comfort level there. So once that is done, and you get rid of kind of the trying to figure out where you're going all the time, then you can just dive so much more into the information that you need to know. So it's just about really the biggest word is improvement every day, and then getting on schedule and staying on schedule.
Kind of on that note, your calendar year, when does your season start? Do you believe it's the draft, OTAs? Is it yesterday? Is it the first game week? What is it for you?
I don't think any of it ever doesn't, stop for us, because once you finish the regular season, you're already pushing towards the next. Whether it's I'm not saying the last game, you're going to go through a self-evaluation, a team evaluation, a recap, and, try to digest that and learn. But, is that the end of the first year or the start of the next year? Like, it's all the same. We're just 24/7, 365. I'm pretty sure if you asked my family, they'd tell you the same thing. So, that's the part of it we love. We love to go out and grind it every single day. But season started a long time ago. We're trying to do the best we can to improve.